Today we have Haile Ferrier, who plays Christine Daaé in the new immersive Phantom of the Opera production, Masquerade, talking all about neurodivergence and accessibility within the industry. I'm Haley Herman, and this is Broadway Lectures.
One more time, okay.
Hi.
Hi.
Today we have Haile Ferrier, who plays Christine Daaé in Masquerade, the new Phantom of the Opera immersive production.
Mm-hmm.
How are you?
Hi. I'm good. We've been
Good.
yapping so much. I'm so lovely.
We've been having a great time pre this show right now.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Of course. I would love for you to tell us about your journey on how you got here, what
Yeah.
you're doing.
Yeah. So like you said, I'm in Masquerade right now.
Mhm.
I've actually been out of the city for a bit. I was back home for a bit, and then I was doing Guys and Dolls at Multitude Theater.
Oh, nice.
But it's been nice, like the past few months, to be back in my classical bag. I feel like a lot of people in New York know me for Dear Evan Hansen, which was my big professional debut out of college. I understudied Alana and Zoe, so both the young girls in the show, if you're familiar. And I did that for about 2 years. I was doing it on contract full time. And then the second and last leg of the tour, I took over as a vacation swing. So I was here in New York, but they were flying me out whenever someone got sick. You know, COVID was still a big thing. They were testing all the time. So yeah, I did that for a bit, and then I navigated back to the city full time when the tour closed. And I've been here ever since, you know, just doing workshops, working, making connections. Yeah.
That's awesome. What was the audition process like for Masquerade? How'd you get into that?
Oh my goodness. So I have like a history with Phantom. That when they announced the big casting call for the first Black Christine, I just knew I had to throw my hat in the ring. I've never been someone that's been like, Christine is a dream role, which I feel like a lot of our Christines feel that way, and it's been like on their bucket list since they were like 6 years old. My dad always tried to get me to watch it with him on the couch when I was younger, and I was like, oh my God, I'm not watching an opera with my dad on the couch. Like that it wasn't on my radar, and also a Black woman had never done it. So this casting call happening was very important to me. I ended up making it to final 3.
Wow.
While I was like graduating from Elon. It was like me, Emily, who ended up getting the role, and someone else who I think ended up being a standby on the show. But you know, it's all like secretive, so I'm not sure who that third person was. But it was like such an honor to work with that creative team, and people in the room were rooting for me and sent me out on different things. Like my name, they were throwing in different rooms. So I'm really thankful that at 21 years old, I was making that impression. And then I finally got to see the show right before it closed with Emily. And that was just very, very special, and kind of solidified that eventually I'd want to take over the role somewhere. But I don't think I imagined that it would be in this way at all. I don't think anyone realized it was even an opportunity. It wasn't even on anyone's radar except for Diane Paulson and ALW. So I ended up doing like an open call when it was untitled. And no one really knew what it was. It was just untitled immersive production. But of course, like the producers listed, and it's POTO LLC, and you're like, I have a feeling that F2, this ingenue that has to think of me, is Christine Daaé. Yeah. So I literally went in for like an ECC and ended up getting a call back like months later. And from there I did a couple more auditions. I did a really kooky like immersive workshop audition where it was like classic acting school, like you're in a clump and someone's the leader and now you're the leader, and listen and follow and breathe. Like it was like, are you willing to do weird shit in a room with a bunch of strangers? Because that's what we do every night. So
Which is so cool.
it's nuts. It's nuts. Like everyone's like, every show must be different, and that's 100% what it is. Like my Meisner training that I got at Elon, it's all like listening and reacting, because if you aren't doing that with the audience, they're like your scene partner. It doesn't honor like the true immersive nature of it. So that's been something fun to play around with. Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's truly like, it's so nuts. You all have to come see the show to understand how much you're truly a part of it. But yeah.
And just so different every night, I can imagine. And just
Even
with
with
this
all the same
audience and all the
blocking,
same people?
every now and then we get an understudy in, and a lot of the intention changes based on their choices. But a lot of what
Wow.
I do differently is based on how the audience is reacting.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And we'll get into more of the audience
Sure.
interaction and all that
Yeah.
later with more questions. But if you have nothing else, like, let's get into your topic.
Yeah,
Yes.
sure.
So we were talking about neurodivergence and accessibility within theater, and also specifically within immersive theater.
Yes.
To start off, would you be able to define what neurodivergency is?
Yeah.
And ADHD?
I would say it's helpful to say that a lot of different things fall under the term neurodivergence, but it basically just is the opposite of neurotypical. Like your brain works in a different way. And I have diagnosed ADHD. I have like a lot of overlap with autism. Odd ADHD is kind of the mix of that. So I've done a lot of research over the past like 2 years since being diagnosed on how that affects me and how it affects how I live my life. Especially in theater, like it's my whole life. And I started to realize that a lot of what my training was, or a lot of what I was taught was like bad or unprofessional, were just kind of things that I might do naturally in a theater space to help me understand, to help me stay focused, to help me stay grounded. So I kind of just started advocating for myself, having that knowledge, and trying to bring it into every room. Like I remember I started bringing fidget toys into Masquerade because, the audience interaction, we didn't have 60 people to play with. So a lot of the times we were being audience for each other, and just kind of like not having stimulation when you're seeing the same things over and over. I started passing out fidget toys. Like I would put them in our space. Like people were taking breaks. I think it was a really just open space when it came to what are our needs. And that was, of course, introduced to me in college. I had a lot of great professors that were on it when it came to like intimacy directing and like access needs. Like it was, Elon was woke. Elon University. I
love
went
that.
for music theater. Yeah. But a lot of things introduced to me there, but I don't think I really grasped like the need for that in the space until I started like, burning out and realizing it was really hard to make it through like a long theater day. Yeah.
And tell us more about that. What has your experience been like within the industry and within your experience and shows?
Yeah, I would say I think I really shifted my perspective after auditioning for How to Dance in Ohio. They were specifically looking for actors that identified as autistic and neurodivergent because it was based off of this documentary. And just the whole process was so just well thought out and inclusive, and I've never felt more safe in an audition process. And I think it was because they really not only took the time to explore access needs and what could make people comfortable either in the room, in the waiting room even, but they also made sure there was time to communicate that those needs and whatever you needed was readily available, and you could take the time to be like, I actually need some time out, or I actually need to take a break, I'm getting overwhelmed, whatever it is, like overstimulated. And that's just, everyone, whether you're neurodivergent or not, knows the nerves, knows the energy that is in that sort of space. You walk into Pearl and it's like, oh, like it's just a different energy. Yeah. And so anything to break that up, whether it's like physically, whether it's putting in like loop headphones, just subtle things like that make a big difference, were incorporated into the audition process. And I felt like it was my first time I had really seen a production work so hard before the show had even gotten up on its feet. And I think from there I started bringing that energy into other spaces, like whether the team had taken the time to incorporate it themselves or not. I just kind of like people to know it's an option, and that they won't be alone in doing whatever they need to feel comfortable. Yeah, it could be things as subtle as not changing the direction after an audition combo is taught. It could be, like I said, putting in loop headphones, just very small things like that you don't think make a big difference, but could change someone's entire audition.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what does advocating for yourself in those spaces look like?
Yeah. I remember this one example. I was like auditioning. I was doing an ECC audition for Hell's Kitchen, and I was familiar with the show, but I was going in like chorus call, so I wasn't singing first. And they threw this crazy combo at us, and I was like, I know I can do this physically, but it's not sticking. And I did my best, but I was like, I don't know. And luckily, I don't know if they just typed me into the production, but they asked me to sing. And so I sing my song, and it goes well. Like, that's my shtick. And then at the end I go, and I would just like to advocate for myself this moment. And they were like, oh, yes, of course. Like, everyone was like, wait, there's something new happening. Like, you're breaking the script.
Yeah.
I said I would like to advocate for myself in this moment. I feel like I can do that choreo, and I feel like I can do it well. And I'd love like another opportunity to come in and do it, whether it's I take it home and work on it and I submit a video, or if it's in person, I would just like love another chance to show you all just with time away from it. And they said, okay, thank you so much. And I went home and like worked on the choreo, and I got a call back and got to do this whole re-audition with the choreographer. And like they added on choreo, and I was like, oh, this is new stuff again. But that whole section, it was like, yeah, I feel like I can really not only do the choreo, but I have the freedom to, you know, tell the story and really focus on that, and not, oh, I'm forgetting this step and now I look flustered. And
that takes courage, because it breaks the script.
I remember like shaking.
and what inspired you to do that? Like,
I don't know. I think I know my capabilities, and at Elon I was like considered a dancer. Like, I thought I was going to go out and just go in for ensemble stuff, and it was a show that I'd seen at the Public before it was transferring, and I really loved it, and I really loved the spirit of it. And I don't know, it wasn't that I was disappointed in myself. It was just I knew under the circumstances I wasn't showing them what I could really do. And that could have been the effect of like I was distracted in the room. Processing is different for people with ADHD. So like no matter how many times you're going into audition rooms and you're learning how to pick things up faster, a lot of different factors could throw you off. So it was just that particular day. I was like, you know what? I can do better than this. Yeah.
That's no, I'm like, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Me personally, I would be so nervous to say anything, because that happens too, where you do a dance call and you're like, I know I can do this better, but like, how do I? And I'm sure that happens to a lot of people where they
and you,
just
of
don't
course
know.
You like have to find the balance of like,
course.
if I was taping this, would I have to tape it 40 times before I liked it? And then it's like, how much am I really pushing myself here?
Exactly.
I am the type of person where I really get into a flow state when it comes to repetition, whether it's vocally, whether it's for a choreo. So I knew if I like got familiar with the music, if I took time to really get into the details and what they were asking of us, and I don't know, really like got into the nitty gritty of what the choreo was, that I would be able to come back and do it. Like, I know there are times when you have to learn the choreo in a day, and like, get those people that can pick it up quickly. But if a show is putting up a production and you have actors that are willing to go home and work on it, which I always am, I hold myself to a high standard. I'm sure a lot of other neurodivergent people do, but I'm just willing to put in that work. And I knew that I would be able to take it home and bring back something I was proud of and that they were proud of. And I actually had someone come up to me after that had been in the initial audition, and they were like noticed that I had took it home, worked on it, did the work, and they were like, you were great. That was really wonderful.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. Do you have any advice for people on advocating for themselves in a room, whether that's in an audition, a rehearsal space?
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's just having like the courage to really know yourself and know what you can do. But I think it's also just what I said about how to dance in Ohio, making that time for that. It was like an extra 30 seconds of me allowing myself to take up that space, take up that time. and break the script and break the mold, instead of being like, I have 2 minutes to be here and I have to be perfect and bye, and then I have to hope for the best. It was me going, I'm going to take an extra 30 seconds, even if it's hard, to like take up space and be vulnerable, because that's what it was. It was a moment of vulnerability, which is scary, but I think like the universe kind of rewards you in those moments. Yeah,
absolutely. And do you think different auditions or rehearsal processes, or just the industry in general, is moving towards being more accessible in these cases, or do you think there's still a long way to go?
I think there's a lot of self-advocacy happening. I know I do that myself. I think the more we do that, the more people are aware that it's a need and that people actually care about it. But yeah, I've worked with people that are very adamant about moving forward in that direction. I think it's hard in this business because everything is go, go, go. And it's definitely like a capitalistic, like it's a business, and you have to get things up quick, and you do your best in that way. But I think it just shines through when that sort of like care is put into a production, into a space. And your company feels more comfortable coming to you if they feel uncomfortable. I think that's very important. And I think it's what any director or creative team would want in this day and age. Finding the balance between this is a business and we need to get things done, but also we are human. And if we burn out, it's not going to be a good thing to share with people.
That is not your best. We were talking earlier about like understudies and covers, and how you see like that white slip of paper and you're like, oh no, it's like, no, like you're getting the show at your best, and you're seeing a cleaner version. And in terms of just like the company management or directors or those people on the more creative side, being more accessible to your actors allows for like the best performance to be put on stage versus not.
I'm as someone who like suffers from chronic illness, I am quick to call out. And I have so much trust in the understudies, especially in Masquerade. They have been keeping the show on its feet. Like it's just it's an insane show, and we're with audience members all the time, and we're this close to each other. So like if someone's sick, I'm getting sick, you know. So to have the trust to go, they've got it. You're going to get a better show if they're in. I'm quick to put that trust in anyone that is understudying me. And I also have experience understudying. So like being given the chance to go on and not seeing someone push through is just like, that should just be the standard, you know? Absolutely. That's what they're there for.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. I love seeing all those compilations of like, this is a person that was an understudy for this person, and now they're Audra McDonald. Like I love those videos. You never know what you're gonna get. You never know what sort of take you're gonna get on the production. All of our Christine takes are completely different, and that's what makes it really exciting for audiences, is that you can go back to the show, see someone else, and get like a completely different production based on the pairing you see, the choices that are made that night. So I just think understudies, it's just a different version of that, especially with our show. It's just the nature of it is just great for that.
That is so cool. I'm so excited to see this show at one point.
It's like, crazy. It's nuts.
So excited. Going with that, what have been some of your tactics or techniques that you use to thrive in a space, whether it's immersive, in the process?
I'd say in the rehearsal space, it's much easier to advocate for yourself. I'm constantly like, if you see me in a pair of sunglasses, don't worry about it.
Don't ask
or like a hat, like overlay light really gets me. I always have like a fidget, like I have my fidget ring.
Oh, it's
today.
so cute.
It's very subtle, but like I have that. I had more unsubtle fidgets in rehearsal. But I have things like that in the rehearsal space. And then when it comes to performances, like you do your best with the circumstances you're given, but you never know like what an audience member is going to do when they're that close to you, when it comes to like distractions. And I think sort of working with the audience and taking those distractions and using them has been my tool in this production. Because in a usual like, proscenium stage show, someone's phone goes off and it takes you out of it. But you have to acknowledge stuff like this in the space because they're right there and they're part of the scene. Like if you've acknowledged other things, you can't just ignore that. So, I mean, it's really funny. I've heard of like Carlottas they can be a little crazier, but I've heard of like people taking out phones and then being like, what is that? Like it becomes part of the scene. They're like, it's the 1800s. I don't know what an iPhone is, or like
random box.
Yeah, it just becomes like improv sort of. Yeah, I mean, me and Kyle, who is one of our phantoms on the show, we both have ADHD, and we've talked about how this show is so like different and invigorating that it's kind of someone with ADHD's dream, because you can't space out. Like
that's true.
It's constantly moving. You're like running people upstairs. Like you can't be in that inattentive space. Yeah, which is where I land. I have inattentive ADHD. There's also hyperactive, but I lean inattentive, which is more like spacey, hard to focus, daydreamy. And it's just kind of just impossible to bring that energy to that space. Yeah.
That is so fascinating. And I love that what you said about taking what the audience gives you and using it.
Yeah.
Do you have, I know you can't talk much about it, but do you have any like examples or like just silly weird things that have happened so far?
I think the phone one is a big one. The other week it's really small, but I had a really quiet audience, and I get to hand someone a letter as Christine in a scene, and I hand it to this guy in the corner, and he grabs it and goes, oh, and he takes out a pair of glasses and unfolds them. Mind you, I've sung the letter already. He knows what it says. Unfolds them and puts them on his face, and he's like this, and the whole room just like burst into laughter in this really serious scene where I'm like, life or death, what do I do? Do I kill this man? Like, what? And I can't be like, oh, I'm so serious. You have to like react to that. And it's a funny moment. And it's just like, you share that moment with the audience and then you move on. Overall, people have been very respectful. And you know, we had 2 months of previews where we were figuring out like what it is to do a show with 60 strangers every night, 60 different acting partners every night.
Right.
Yeah.
Did it change a lot from previews to the final
I wouldn't say material-wise, no, but maybe more focusing on how to move people through rooms and just kind of making that easy. Because again, like accessibility is a big thing on our show. We have a great ADA track that two lovely people, Fiona and Jason, our ADA team, have worked on since the beginning. We're training people all the time. But we have wheelchairs. We have electric wheelchairs. We have these chairs that turn into canes. So like if you have chronic fatigue, chronic illness like I do, you always have somewhere to sit. So making things not overwhelming for the audience was very important to us. Not rushing them was very important to us. And sight lines, you know, the basics. I think that stuff was really explored and perfected in that preview process.
Absolutely. That's so genius. And because isn't it multiple floors? Is that true?
Yeah. So our ADA track, most of them take elevators, though we do have a couple escalators, so you're not going like all the way up 6 floors. But yeah, if you're worried about it, our ADA track, they will take care of you. You miss like 2 seconds of the end of a scene, you get out, and then, you know, we're walking through halls, so they're taking you through their track while we're doing like the buffer stuff, and you don't end up missing anything really.
Wait, that's beautiful. What a great way to show accessibility within like what it can actually do and be.
With like a crazy show like that, there's no excuse now for any show to ever just like throw away the idea of accessibility. Like I'm seeing things pop up for shows where it's like I couldn't see in my wheelchair and blah blah blah, and I'm like, if we can do this at our 6 floors at Masquerade, you guys,
people have to step it up.
Get it together, prioritize it. It's very important. We've had people who are either losing their sight or fully don't have sight, where like the show gets described to them and they've been just like aghast at the opportunity to experience theater in that way, because it's so like immersive. Like you can touch things, like you're up close and personal to everything. So for them to be able to have that experience at our show and just feel changed by a theater experience like that is very special.
Wow. That can be something that everyone has to figure out when they're creating a show like that, is how can you make it so the most people are able to see it?
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
I know for other shows it feels like a hurdle, but I think for us it was just like a non-starter.
Yeah.
To figure that out.
That's so cool. In terms of other shows as well, going back to this neurodivergence and ADHD representation, are there any shows that you feel portray how the life of someone who has neurodivergency or
I
ADHD?
think we probably haven't seen a lot of it on Broadway, which is why How to Dance in Ohio was very special to me.
Yeah.
I'm a little biased. I did work with Sammy Canold in Sunset Boulevard at the Kennedy Center. Yeah. So like I definitely just went to support her as well. But it was very important to me to see, because I think what they did well was base it off of that documentary. And they just got a really wide range of representation, because autism and you know, it's a spectrum, so not everyone reacts in the same way to things, not everyone gets overstimulated by the same things. People just, everyone has their own experience when it comes to neurodivergence, so to see different versions of that experience across the board through all of the characters, and to see how people in the show who weren't neurodivergent reacted to it, how they treated them, and the effects of that, I think was just very important for audience members, whether they were neurodivergent or not, to get a handle on. You don't really know what it looks like to see someone figuring out either autism or ADHD, like struggles in their everyday life, their real life. You don't know what that looks like, and you never know what someone is dealing with. So I think that's why advocating, or being able to advocate for yourself if you can, is very important, because no one knows your needs.
Right.
That's the whole thing of it, is you do have to speak up, because no one knows specifically what you're dealing with in that moment, or what could be making you feel a certain way.
Yeah. And do you think there's enough conversations happening around this topic? Or?
Oh, I always think there could be more.
Yeah, well, of course. I was going to say.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know a lot 2 years ago. Like when I was undiagnosed, I don't think I had a lot of the tools that would have been helpful for me in university even. I think a lot of things that I was taught in university don't really mesh with like someone who's neurodivergent, and the energy that they bring into the space. Like something that could be seen as disrespectful is maybe just a way for me to seek clarity. Right. But the director is God, and like that's what you're taught in those sort of programs. So I think I'd love to see exploration of that in programs like that, BFA programs, whatever, conservatories, more conversations about that, even bringing people in like Sammy who have worked on shows with autistic people, like, and not just people pretending and, you know, taking on a responsibility that isn't theirs, but we have the resources to open up those conversations. So I'd love to see more of that.
And is there anything else that about this conversation, this topic, that you just have been dying to just speak on and about and share with the audience who's watching?
I think when people don't have all the knowledge, they're kind of afraid to speak up or like create those changes that make big waves. But even if you're doing something wrong, I think it's just very important to explore and learn from that exploration what helped and what is wrong. I think there's a lot of fear in being wrong and being vulnerable, but it is a very vulnerable topic. A lot of people struggle when their needs aren't being met, and that can be scary. But I think any opportunity to open up like that conversation, especially in a theater space, especially in a space where you're collaborating with people that you don't know very well, it leads to greatness.
You're doing a beautiful job.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. And these last final moments, is there anything else you'd like to share? That can be last thoughts, promotions, just anything.
I think I'd just like to say, come to Masquerade. We just announced a ticket lottery. So I know accessibility, especially when it comes to like performing arts and cost of things is a very important conversation to have as well. So having that $66 ticket lottery is a step in the right direction, I think. And then we also have a cancellation line that they've just announced. But yeah, come see us in Masquerade. You have 6 choices of Christine, but you can come see me if you'd like. Come see us, Christine Daaé. I also, fun fact, I also play Meg Giry.
No way.
I hop around. That's just a fun little thing that people are figuring out. But hopefully you see me as Christine. And it's really kooky, and I hope you have a good time. Dress up, live your life. Be immersed.
Be immersed. Thank you so much.
Thank
you were just lovely.
Oh, thank you.